There has been a groundbreaking change in the way Alzheimer's disease is diagnosed in the United States. Diagnoses, which previously required painful and complicated procedures, such as brain imaging or cerebrospinal fluid analysis, is now possible with a simple blood test. As the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, officially approved the first Alzheimer's blood test, the medical community around the world is paying attention.
On the 16th, local time, the Washington Post reported that the FDA had officially approved a blood test called Lumipulse. This is the first case of a blood test being approved to diagnose Alzheimer's disease. The principle of the Lumipulse test is as follows. It measures two proteins in the patient's plasma to determine whether amyloid plaques, known to be the cause of Alzheimer's disease, are accumulated in the brain. Alzheimer's disease is a representative degenerative brain disease, and the most promising hypothesis to date is that when a protein called amyloid abnormally accumulates in the brain, nerve cells die and memory and cognitive function decline. Previously, diagnosing this disease required lumbar puncture to collect cerebrospinal fluid, or expensive brain imaging equipment, such as MRI and CT. However, this method was time-consuming and was a very physically burdensome test for the patient. On the other hand, Lumipulse is evaluated as a faster, simpler, and less burdensome diagnostic method because it is performed by simply drawing blood. However, this test can only be used for patients admitted to specialized treatment centers with suspected cognitive decline, and the test results must be interpreted together with other clinical information. In other words, a definitive diagnosis cannot be made based on the test results alone, and a doctor's comprehensive judgment must be made in conjunction. The company that developed the Lumipulse test is Fujiri Biodiagnostics, a subsidiary of Japan's WHO Group. The cost of the test has not yet been disclosed, but it is expected to be significantly cheaper than existing testing methods. Dr. Maria C. Carrillo, Chief Science Officer of the Alzheimer's Association of the United States, evaluated this FDA approval as another important step forward in the diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. And more patients will be able to receive a more accurate diagnosis at an earlier stage.
An era where Alzheimer's can be diagnosed with a drop of blood. This FDA approval is a major advancement in medical technology and is expected to provide new hope to patients and their families fighting dementia.